Hey guys, it's BBM aka Big Brain Mercado, and I am making a PvP tier guide for XHeroes. We're just gonna jump right into it and start with Alcazar. She is subpar category. She used to be around the viable. I wouldn't say meta, but she used to be around the viable category. But with the introduction of balance, she no longer capitalizes on the ultimates that her allies deal because balance and other CC put a stop to that. So you cannot capitalize on her value, which would be the passive she shoots. So she shoots passives every time a hero deals their ultimate skill, and that's where her value maxes out at. Now, next we have Light here. Light is really good. I like Light. I'm going to put her in the viable category. You need a very specific build to make her decent. I don't think she's ever going to be here in the meta category, but if you put Armor of Destruction on her, which is an evil artifact, along with Guardian Stigs, she becomes a incredible counterattacker. Essentially, anytime herself or any of the allies get attacked with an active attack from the enemy, she will shoot a counterattack. And then her strength scales as the rounds go on. Next, we have Anna. Anna is viable for low to mid-range players, especially if you use the Succubus Stigs on her. That'll pretty much guarantee you a CC slash charm at least once every round. Now we have Anubis. Anubis is really good. He counters Orochi. He debuffs attack, debuffs armor, debuffs speed for your opponent. Prevents resurrect from Einstein, counters life as well, all her resurrects. So he's pretty decent, but none of those heroes are meta, so he's going to be the viable category because he's not countering anybody in the meta category. Next we have Afra. Afra is viable. Not many people use her, but she is a good hero. She's buffing armor, she's healing, she's buffing her own damage reduction. All in all, she is a good hero for the team. You could think of her as like a miniature thinker. So if you're building multiple teams, she'd be a good one on a team that you want your other heroes to survive a little bit longer. Next, we have Bounce. Bounce is the game breaker. He is meta hero number one. Very good hero. He shoots 6 CC attempts at the beginning of each round, with one of those CC attempts being 100% to the first target, which is asinine. On top of that, he will energy drain. Those are his two main features, the CC and the energy drain, but he has like 2 or 3 other features and abilities that make him even more broken. He has pretty much changed the meta. Whereas if he wasn't here, some of these heroes would be switched around in different positions. But for example, the witch would be in the viable category, but she's no longer viable because of him. Next, we have Baron. Baron is a super cool DPS. Once you get a enemy below a certain HP threshold, he's going to start spinning with his guns, and he'll be killing one, two, if not all the heroes on the enemy team, depending on how strong he is. He's a really good hero. He's a finisher. So now we have Behemoth. Behemoth is in the meme category. You can make some decent combos with him, but he's never going to be up here towards viable meta category. He's just always going to be a meme. He's just an S hero. If you want to throw a bunch of resources and throw a bunch of resources at him and make a fun team out of him, just for the sake of it, you can do that, and he ends up being pretty cool. Next we have Bonnie. Bonnie's a cool secondary DPS, and she also buffs the entire team's damage immune and broken armor stats. A lot of people pair her with Laura to get a stronger pre-missile at the beginning of the battle. Next we have Camilla. Not a lot of people focus on Camilla, understand Camilla, or have her, but I've used her personally, and I think she's a great hero. She's great at damage reflecting. She's a great DPS. She's a great tank, and all in all, just a good hero. I made a full guide on her, and you can read the guide to have a better understanding of how she works and how she can help you out on a team 1 or a team 2. She's good. Highly recommend. Next, we have Kara. Kara is going to be here in the subpar category because she takes too many resources to be just decent. The best way I can describe her is like a lesser darkness or a less effective darkness. She's susceptible to being controlled. She's susceptible to energy drain because she relies on her ultimate skill in order to do any significant amount of damage. Her basic attack does much, and she's very squishy. She dies very easily, so she's in that category. Next we have Collapse. Collapse I will put in the viable category. Not many people have him, so he hasn't really taken over the meta yet, but he does directly counterbalances lunar eclipse at the beginning of the battle, and that also result in him not energy draining. If Balance wears the orb of turdiness, I think that's what it's called, something like that. Anyway, it's that energy orb that gives energy. Then he will still perform his lunar eclipse. I'm not sure why, but that's just the interaction between the two. So if Collapse is going up against a Balance that's wearing a Bell of Chaos to increase defected, then he will fail at his lunar eclipse at the beginning of the round. But if he's wearing orb, then that counters that. But then his effective goes down, and he's not going to CC as many enemies. But he'll be good for the energy drain. Next, we have Kui Pan. Kui Pan is viable. He's a good CC clearer, and then he heals once he drops to that 50% HP threshold. He will clear CC, which is a big thing in this meta. Unfortunately, he does not clear Balance's CC, but he will clear Twines from Ivy. He'll clear Stuns from Zeus. He'll clear Charms from Anna, and so forth. Next, we have Cupid here. So Cupid is going to be between meme and average category. So we go here. I'll put him in the subpar category because he's actually, you can utilize him to buff your front row heroes attack and kind of manipulate that buff to create a strong combo if you are needing to use multiple teams, like Union War, for example. I think that's actually the only place you can use him because he's just an A hero. I don't think you can use him in Dimensional Battle, but in Union War he's decent. Darkness is viable. It's not meta, but she's viable. Very strong hero, immune to CC. The only thing you need to work around is balance energy drain, because that's her main feature, is her ultimate skill, which will completely obliterate almost any hero you put in front of her. Very good hero, highly recommend. Next we have Deer. Deer's a very good support hero. She heals, adds damage reduction to the team. She also buffs your team's damage at a certain point. There's so many things. She has so many features, so many things that she does. I could make a whole guide on her, but she is a great addition to any defensive lineup. She also increases shields too. So, for example, if you have Yi on the team and Yi is given shield at the beginning of the round, then she will include that. Einstein next. We'll put him as viable for low to mid-range players, but a lot of high-level players do not use Einstein. If you are going to use Einstein in PvP, make sure it's on a team that is fast, faster than your opponent, because if they were strong enough to kill you the first time, they will most likely be strong enough to kill you the second time after they're revived. So if you're able to get your attacks off upon revival before your enemy does, that gives you a better chance of Einstein's Resurrect not going to waste. Next we have Alpha here. Alpha is definitely viable. She has a lot of great features about her. Read her skills. She has this thing called electromagnetic shield that she'll link with the ally that has the highest attack, and I believe that gives them some damage reduction, armor penetration, possibly, etc. You have to read to get the exacts about her, but she's really good. I like her. Elodie, viable. The only thing she has an issue with is she's squishy. She's susceptible to CC, and she needs energy to fully perform. So that's where he becomes an issue again. Is most of these heroes can't perform the way they should be able to because of balance. But anyway, highly recommend her. She's a good CC hero. And then she has this thing called Absolute Freeze, where heroes that are not supposed to be able to get CC'd, like 40 exclusive Darkness, will still get CC'd because that's just the mechanic and the interaction between the two. It's her Absolute Freeze, will freeze heroes that may be immune to it. It's also not dispellable, so she's pretty good, decent. Next we have the Tree Man, Epius. He's going to be in the meme category. You can pump him with skill damage and broken armor, and he does some cool stuff. Proc him with time, whatever, just to make a fun team out of him. Meme. General Rescue, same thing. Meme. He's a huge hitter, so I don't know. Just have fun, put a scythe on him or something, and pump his broken armor, and he'll do some crazy damage. But these heroes are never going to be in these upper categories because they're just other heroes that are way better. Giles. Giles is meta. Giles is a great tank, and he provides a lot of damage reduction for his team. He protects two allies in the bottom row and pretty much tanks their hits for them if they fall below a certain threshold and need help surviving. So he's very good. Highly recommend. If you're just starting out a game looking to build a team, then go for Giles as one of your first tank / supports. Next we have God Slayer. I would put him here. He used to be here, but now he falls kind of flat. So I'm gonna put him here in the average category. I'm not really happy with him these days because there's just too many things that mess him up. There's Julia. There's balance. Any other CC. Yeah. So I don't know about him anymore. There's too much damage reduction going on too for him to be decent anymore. So I've noticed that a lot of times somebody will try to use him against an enemy with high defense, and his slashes, even if he's wearing scythe and gets time proc, his slashes will not push through. Great PvE hero, but just an average PvP hero. I don't even think I use him in PvP. Like within my 6 teams, I don't think I use him at all. Next I have Houston. Houston is meme for PvP. One of the PvE goats, but for PvP she is just a meme. You can use her to buff his attack, for example, and then they'll just go off and do a bunch of damage, and it's cool. But to take up an entire spot on a 6-man team, Houston is not worth it. Next, we have Incinerus. Incinerus is viable. My Union mate has Incinerus, and Incinerus is very decent. Read his skills, learn about him. He shoots passives, he heals. I think he has this feature too where he becomes like untargetable. So the enemy, any enemies that target based on attack or HP or anything like that, are not allowed to target him. So look into that. And Incinerus is pretty cool. Definitely not a must, but if you're a spender, he's going to be really unique, and you get maximum aura with Incinerus. Next is Indira. She's just average. Again, another PvE goat, but in PvP she falls flat. You could pump her. You can make a team around her and pump her up with broken armor and crit damage and all that stuff, and do nice little tricks with her. But she's never going to be in this meta / viable category. Next we have Irina. Irina is going right to the top meta. I have her. She's amazing. She clears CC. She clears balances CC. She increases crit damage. She heals. She does so many things and provides so much value to your team. I use her on my main team, and she is amazing. I think more people should look into her. Irina's great. What do we have next? Ivy. I'm going to put Ivy in the viable category. She's extremely viable. A lot of people use her to twine their enemy. She has a very high chance to twine upon death, and that's how most people use her. So I see her on a lot of teams, and she's very popular, and people have a lot of success with her. So she is viable. Next we have Jane. Jane is going to be between viable and subpar. Jane, if she gets CC'd, she's not shooting any passives, but she does shoot passives after a certain amount of actions from your allies. Then she buffs attack, she buffs crit damage, and she heals a little bit, and then she has some other characteristics too. Alright, so we're going to move on to Julia. Julia's meta. She is one of the most broken DPS in the game. I think she is just single-handedly the most broken DPS in the game. So, of course, she's going to be here in the meta category. She gets a ton of leaf strikes and does not stop shooting leaf strikes until the entire team is dead, unfortunately. It's hard to get around that, especially if you have CC clearers like Irina and Magner. She can be a huge nuisance to deal with. But that's why she's here in the meta category. So, Julianne. So Julianne is a good hero for low to mid-range players. She has a lot of nice damage reduction features. I think she has some speed debuffing. She's a counter attacker. She's a great hero all in all for defensive benefits for your allies, for your team. And next we have Karen. Karen is a meme. You could make a cool meme build with her and Julia and Camilla. Camilla will mark a front row hero with fear, which makes your other heroes that have targeting capabilities taste blood, and then they will actively target the fear-marked target until that fear-marked target is dead. So the way the combo works is Camilla, fear marker, and then Karen will take aim at the fear-marked target, increasing the enemy's damage received, or the fear-marked target's damage received by 40%. And then Julia will take aim at that same target, and all her strikes will be increased by 40%. It's a really cool combo, but it is a meme combo. Alright, so moving on to Kinley. Kinley's super viable. If you pump her with broken armor, damage immune, she becomes a nice DPS / tank hybrid. She's really good when you pair her with Thinker, Deer, um, support heroes like that. She seems to do very well. So even Alpha's a good option to pair with her on a team. Another Clorse. Clorse is one of my favorite heroes because she is not broken like Julia. She's more of an equalizer between low spender to mid spender to whale, and just the way she's designed is great. I can tell that the developers put a lot of thought into her when they made her. That's probably why her skill list, when you go to read it, is like multiple paragraphs long. But yeah, all her features are great. She deals true damage, so anything right through a shield, and she performs very well. So if you're looking to build a DPS and you are a new player, I would go Julia first and then Clorse right away after that. Okay, next we have Nox. He's going straight to meta. He counters Julia, so he's phenomenal. I would get him. I mean, he's fairly new, but I would get him immediately. Julia cannot kill him round one, so she's got to deal with that. And he shoots these really strong passives, and if you build them properly, same thing I have a union mate that has them and absolutely destroys with Nox. Next is Kong. Kong is meta. Kong is speed buffer, attack buffer, and almost every decent team has a Kong in it or a Lucadia, which we haven't got to Lucadia yet, but the Kong is very, very, very popular, and you can utilize him well. It's very important to put on a team. Next we have Laura. Laura's meta. Laura's one of my favorite DPS heroes due to her pre-round missiles. So if you want her missiles to hit hard, you need to put Scythe on her, and you need to pump broken armor and attack. Skill damage will not help her pre-missiles whatsoever. It's broken armor and attack. That's what you want to pump into her. Crit damage as well. Crit damage will help to a certain point, but I like to focus on attack and broken armor. Broken armor being the most important one. So there's that. Some people pair Bonnie with Laura, as I mentioned before, and then Laura's pre-round missiles will hit a little bit harder. Next we have Life. Life is viable. She's not super good, but she is viable. I would put her on a late round team, a team that likes to survive a while. As I mentioned, maybe the Kinley, Thinker, Deer, Alpha, Life would be all great on a team together. So you could try that, and you should end up with some good results. But essentially, she heals and she revives. Next here, Logan. Logan is just average. He's pretty much a meat shield. You can put Pupil on him. I think they call it Devil's Eye now or something like that. They used to call it Pupil. And now it's Devil's Eye. You can put that on him with some Banshee Stigmatas. You could put Divine Prayer on him with some Banshee Stigmatas. You can put Wings on him. You do whatever you want, but he's always just going to be average. He needs some additional features. But now we have here Lucadia. Lucadia is going to be a meta hero. She is here. Let me switch these around. Okay, so Lucadia is pretty much like the whale's Kong. She buffs attack, she buffs speed, she does damage pre-round. Her ultimate does a lot of damage. She clears CC. She's a great hero all around. She's a god hero. It's going to cost you some money if you want to immortal her. But essentially, if you have the resources, get Lucadia, put her on a team, she's going to do better than Kong will. Now, you cannot combine the two to compound their effects because Lucadia's will take precedence, and override Kongs. So again, they will not combine. Effects cannot combine. You can't stack those effects. Next, so it wouldn't make sense to put them on a team together. Next is Lucas. He's going to be meta. Pretty sure he adds damage reduction. He heals. He helps heroes, your DPS survive, while your whole team survive through his soul contract, and allows your hero to tank a fatal blow one time and heal and try again. Very good hero. Highly recommend. Obviously, all these heroes in the meta category you're going to want to aim for, but the more reasonable ones are going to be like Giles, Julia, Chloris, Laura, Kong, Lucas, maybe even Baron. So now there's more means of acquiring Baron becoming available. So next we have Lucy here. She's going to be in the meme category. You can buff your allies' attack, skill damage, crit, etc. with Lucy and do some incredible damage. But again, it's just, if you're bored and you want to make a fun build, you can use her to pump attack, pump skill damage, broken armor, time proc, all that stuff to your DPS, and there you have it. Next is Magner. Magner's viable. He's a very cool hero, very unique hero, and you really need to understand him before you use him, or you may get frustrated because he has all these conversion capabilities that'll mess with your speed and your attack and your other buffs. If you're using like wings or bow, or you got relics on, it's gonna mess with all that stuff. So. Yeah, just make sure I have a guide on Magner. Make sure you read the Magner guide if you decide you want to use him, but he's very good. Next up is Orochi or Orokai. I'm gonna say Orochi, but it may be Orokai. For now, he's got too many counters, so he's just gonna be average. He used to be here in this viable category, maybe even inched his way to the meta category for a while, but for now he is just average. He gets countered by Balance. He gets countered by Baron. He gets countered by Anubis. He gets countered by anything that CCs him or clears his energy at the beginning of the round before he can deal his ultimate skill after he revives. So he's just going to be average for now. Next we have Panda. Panda's a fun little meme. I went 15 rounds one time with Panda Wings and evaded all of Julia's leaf strikes for the entirety of those 15 rounds. Well, some of them he did take, but he survived through them. So yeah, he's a fun little meme. The only problem with him is like, yeah, he'll evade all day, but the game is just gonna go to 15 rounds because he has no DPS capabilities or anything like that. He's not dealing any damage. So next up we have Pierre. We're going to say Pierre is viable. A lot of people like to use Pierre for his waiting game. It's a passive that shoots regardless of him being CC'd or not. So Pierre is a really cool hero to get. Read his waiting game and you'll see that he shoots it at various thresholds with his own health, and then after an enemy or an ally die, he will also shoot it, and then every time he shoots it, progressively gets stronger if you have his could be his exclusive unlocked at a certain level. Not 100% sure, but Pierre's cool. Next up here is Poseidon. Poseidon is going to be between average and viable. Not enough people are using her yet. I have been able to make a decent team out of her, but I've also realized that if I trade places with Chloris and put Chloris in Poseidon's place with the same gear on, that Chloris will perform better. So Poseidon is going to be just average for now. I know in the Chinese servers that she does very well, and she's either viable or meta over there, but I guess we haven't gotten to that point yet here in our servers in EA and SA. So for now, she's just average. Next, we have Rex. Rex is the same thing. Rex is going to be... I'm going to put him in the viable category, but with the stipulation that you build him a certain way. The only way he becomes truly viable, where he's hanging with all these other heroes, is if you put Armor of Destruction, Evil Artifact on him, plus Guardian Stigmatas. That is the only way that I found him to become somewhat viable. Any other configuration, and he's going to be in the subpar / average category. Now, the way that works with him is with the Evil Armor or the Armor of Destruction. He issues his counterattacks after he gets hit so many times. And while he's wearing the Armor of Destruction, he tanks hits for his allies as well. So that will contribute to the stacks that he needs to issue each passive attack. So wearing the Armor of Destruction with the Guardian Sticks will proc the sticks and give him more damage reduction over time, and those stacks will accumulate quickly. And then whatever stacks he needs to issue his counterattack every time will also be far more abundant, because his Armor of Destruction will help him stack his own passes for his counterattacks throughout the battle, and then he just becomes a counterattack machine. So plus a tank. Next we go Rockefeller. Rockefeller is going to be average here. A lot of low end to mid range players can use Rockefeller and use him for his stuns and his counterattacking. So he's not bad at all. Next we have Ronin. Ronan's going to be a meme. Ronan's very popular in PvE, but in PvP, it's just a meme. If you want to maximize the amount of damage you can do, you're going to go, Ronan, Lucy, Houston, plus a DPS maybe, and then do crazy damage. But it's never going to be something that you can do viably. Next we have Sally, same thing, meme. She shoots these passive attacks that reduce the enemy's armor. So you could go armor reduction to 0 on your opponent, and then land a bunch of damage because they have no armor. Same thing though, it's just a meme. Satan, meme. I don't have much to say about him. He is super cool in PvE and does all kinds of tricks, but in PvP we cannot replicate that because of the shields and damage immune that we have, which are different mechanics than in PvE. So he's going to be there in the meme category. Silas, same thing, meme category. You can do cool single target damage to your enemies with Silas, but always just going to be a meme. Also, most of these are just S heroes, so they're not very strong to begin with. We have a few S+. We have Ronan and Satan that are S+ heroes, but most of these are just the weaker S heroes. St. Matthew, got nothing to say about her. She's not even a meme. She's just not viable. So we're going to put her there. Thinker. Thinker is definitely viable. Thinker is a really cool hero. He's like the father of Afra. He has some armor buffing, damage reduction, healing. He gives the allies this cool thing called life shield. So once he ults, every time your enemy attacks, he will heal your team for a certain amount, and sometimes his heals exceed the amount of damage your opponent did, so it's just great. Anyway, very cool hero, very good hero. Stinker. Next we have Life. Oops. Life is going in the viable slot. There's too much energy drain and CCing going around and lower pre-missiles for him to be meta, but he is viable. You can make some decent teams around him. A common combo is Godslayer here, plus time ults, and then Godslayer ults, and then Godslayer deals a bunch of damage. And that's how that one works. Next one, Toko. Toko is subpar. I can barely get her to do anything anymore. She is just average in PvP. So you can make like a team 2 or team 3 with her, but that's the furthest you're gonna get. I think I don't even know if I use her, but if I did, she would be like a team 5 or team 6 for me. Next, we got a cool meme build here. So with Unlucky Aborigine, you can put Armor of Destruction on him and he'll counterattack like crazy. Oh, just to review real quick, if you do have Armor of Destruction, it's a really cool artifact, and there are some heroes you can capitalize on that with. So Evil Aborigine would be one of them, and then also we have Light. Light is a really good one to wear armor, and then Rex, of course, Rex to wear armor. Then who else? Oh, Julian to wear armor. All of them are counterattackers, and their counterattacks will go crazy. So highly recommend they wear armor. Oh, Rockefeller as well. His counterattacks go crazy with the inclusion of armor. All right, now I have Van Helsing. Van Helsing is really cool. I use him in the Transcendence tournament since you only need to use a team once to win. And obviously all 5 teams can't be your best teams, possibly. So you run out of heroes to use. Use Van Helsing. He's like a suicide bomber. He's one of my favorite, one of the most fun meme characters that I like to use. So Van Helsing. And now we have Wukong here. So Wukong is a good DPS. He does a lot of damage. I would use him as a secondary DPS, although more often than not, he is destroying the entire enemy team if you have a good build on him. He does obscene damage. He clears CC. He shoots passives. He does all kinds of cool tricks. So Wukong, highly recommend. He's hard to obtain, but if you spend a little bit of money, you can get Wukong. So next we have the last of the meta heroes. It's going to be Yi. Yi is the first god hero you should get. Yi is great for everything from PvE to PvP. For PvP, he's pretty much on every single team one that I've seen. Every single good team one is going to have Yi in it because of the protection and the huge shields that he gives to the allies, and that will help absorb, Laura missiles, Julia strikes, and whatnot. So Yi is very important. If you're going for any god, get Yi. If you're going for a universe hero, get Balance. Is my suggestion for those 2 factions. And then the very last hero on my list is gonna be this Zeus. Zeus is okay. He falls flat these days because Laura just wipes him out. He doesn't have any damage reduction. Balance clears out his energy, and that's what he relies on to be any good. He used to be in the meta category, used to be a great hero, but now Balance pretty much ruins the game, but it's okay. So we'll find the workarounds. For example, they released Collapse, the Balance counter, quote unquote, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's the entirety of the guide here. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.